every Thursday live at 6 p.m. Discussing the hottest sports issues featuring local personalities, plus stories on local high school sports, teams, and players. Email your sports opinions and future program suggestions to RCN Sports Talk at rcn.com. And tune in to win great prizes, including free video-on-demand movies, special events, and more. Sports Talk every Thursday live at 6 p.m. serving RCN 4 in the Lehigh Valley and RCN 8 in the Delaware Valley.
This is RCN TV.
From the Kirby Sports Center on the campus of Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, the Lafayette Sports Network, in cooperation with RCN Television and WBBH Channel 60, presents Lafayette College basketball. The St. Francis Terriers in town out of New York City, 0-1 on the year as they'll take on the Lafayette Leopards, 1-1 on the season. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Laubach along with John Leone. Dan Mowdy will be on the sideline. And, John, both these teams have lost the game, but when you look at who they lost to, those losses don't look too bad.
You're absolutely right, Gary. To open their season, the Leopards went down to Philadelphia and played a LaSalle team. They lost by 20 plus, but you got to put that loss in perspective because the next day, LaSalle took Villanova to overtime. On the St. Francis side of things, they opened up with another Big East team, Seton Hall in Newark. All they did was take them to overtime, and Gary, they had a chance to win that game. With 9 seconds left, they missed the front end, missed the front end of a 1-1. So St. Francis that close to knocking off Big East.
And on Monday night, Lafayette beat St. Francis of Pennsylvania as they will run through the Northeast Conference. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Terriers. And boy, everything scoring-wise, rebounding-wise, centers around Travis Nichols.
Gary, all he did against Seton Hall was have 25 points and 14 rebounds. This is a quick, athletic team. They're not overly big, but Gary, they're very athletic. And the stat that jumps out at me most from that Seton Hall game is that they out-rebounded Seton Hall, and 24 of those rebounds were of the offensive variety. They could give the Leopards problems on the boards.
And as they say these days, this basketball team can score the rock. They have a lot of guys that can shoot from the outside as you get a look at the head coach, Glenn Bricka. All right, let's take a look at the Lafayette Leopards starting lineup. The old guard is there in Willen and Maurer, but there's a new kid that's creating a little excitement on campus, and that, of course, is Dan Trist.
Well, Danny's from down under. He's an Aussie, Australian import, and there you have a look at him right there. And I watched this kid in the preseason, Gary. You know, it's going to take him a little while, and I emphasize a little while because he's played internationally. He was a member of the FIBA program. He's played against competition at this level, so the speed of the game isn't going to be that different for him. I love his athleticism. He's 6'9", and in just a little while, you're going to see a heck of a Lafayette basketball player.
This may be a basketball game that's played beyond the arc tonight. Both these teams shoot the tray very, very well. When we come back, we'll have the official introduction of tonight's starting lineup on the Lafayette Sports Network.
What's all the talk about? It's RCN Phone for only $29.99 a month for 1 year. You heard right. RCN Phone featuring unlimited local and nationwide calling, plus loads of great features including call waiting, caller ID, voicemail, and three-way calling. All that for just $29.99 a month. Don't pay the other guys more for less. With RCN, the talking never has to end. Call 866-926-4186 now and start saving big.
We are back. There you get a look at head coach Fran O'Hanlon in his 17th season. He is the dean of Patriot League basketball coaches. This is the 7th meeting between these two teams. Lafayette holds a 4-2 lead. They last played in 2009, and Lafayette won that ball game. Lafayette will make a run through the Northeast Conference. They've already played St. Francis of Pennsylvania. That's a ball game that they won by an 84-81 score. They will play Long Island on Monday, December 5th. They'll play Wagner here on Saturday at 7 o'clock. They'll play Sacred Heart at Sacred Heart on December 11th, a 3:30 ball game. Monmouth on December 28th at 7. And our next men's broadcast and our next Lafayette Sports Network broadcast will be Fairleigh Dickinson. They will play them on Tuesday night, and we'll have that ball game for you. It will be the Terriers of St. Francis who will be introduced. The starting lineups are prepared by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. And the pregame tonight was presented by the Lafayette Sports Network, delivering high-quality programming worldwide via television, radio, streaming video, and satellite. First out will be the gentleman we talked about, number 14, Travis Nichols, 6'4" junior out of Brooklyn, New York. He's a junior college transfer. 25 points in the game against Seton Hall and 14 rebounds, so not a bad way to start the season for sure. Akeem Johnson is number 30, a 6'6" junior. He's a forward out of Brooklyn, New York. 2 points a game, but he had 6 rebounds the other night as they out-rebounded Seton Hall 48-39. Number 2 is Stefan Perunicic. He is a 6'6" senior out of Belgrade, Serbia. 11 points a game. He has 210 threes in his career. Number 3 is Ben Mockford, a 6'2" sophomore out of Shoreham by Sea, England. He had 13 points against Seton Hall. And finally, Dre Calloway, number 32, a 6-foot senior guard out of Harlem, New York. He, too, is a junior college transfer. 10 points per ball game. The head coach is Glenn Bricka. Bricka it is, second year, 15-15 in his first season, and now 15-16. Here is Ryan Willen. Ryan is a 6'8" senior, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, 15.5 a game, 22 in the ball game against St. Francis of PA, 6 rebounds, average. Next is Dan Trist, the big kid out of Sydney, Australia, 6'9", freshman, number 20, 10 points a ball game is his average. Next is Joe Tazinski. He's a 6'2" freshman getting his first start out of Highland Ranch, Colorado. 4 points a ball game. He wears number 5. Next is Jim Maurer, very familiar, number 21, 6'3" senior, Harleysville, PA. 949 points, 185 threes, averaging 17 a game. 32, Rob Delaney, a 6'4" senior co-captain, Westfield, New Jersey. 7 points a ball game for Rob Delaney. There is Fran O'Hanna in his 17 seasons. He's 227 and 243. The officials for tonight's contest: Mike Chesney, Tom Ebersole, and Gary Duda. Dan Mounty has his first report on the sideline. Here's Dan.
All right, Gary, you can't beat a guy from Queens College who's now coaching at St. Francis. I got a chance to talk with Glenn Bricka, the head coach, only in his second year at St. Francis. He has great respect for Fran O'Hanlon, being at the helm for 17 years. He says, we know what Lafayette can do with the basketball. The passing is the thing that scares him the most, and the Terriers as well. Meanwhile, Fran O'Hanlon gives props to Bricka because, as you mentioned, these are guys that took Seton Hall the distance and then some before bowing down, coming in at 0-1 against some pretty formidable opponent. We're going to be expecting a pretty good basketball game tonight. Lafayette with the advantage in height. St. Francis perhaps with a slight advantage of speed. Pace of the game could be the difference here tonight, Gary. Now back to you.
Well, it's going to be a little bit of a different look out of St. Francis of New York, John, as they scored 17 triples in their ball game against Seton Hall. Lafayette, when they played St. Francis of PA, they were 1 for 13 with St. Francis. Lafayette had a dozen threes in that game.
Exactly, Gary. I mean, it's going to be a factor in the game. The thing that concerns me most, conspicuous by his absence, is Tony Johnson not in there. He out with a back injury. And, Gary, his quickness at the point, he's the one guy on the Lafayette roster that you would think can handle the kind of pressure that they're going to see from St. Francis.
We're getting an offensive foul here on Rob Delaney as he took the ball into the arc. And the guy guarding him was in position. You see the man guarding him, and he must have been outside the arc, John. So, therefore, the foul's on Delaney.
You see that arc on the floor, Gary, and again, that defender had to have position outside the arc, and that's what Fran O'Hanlon is saying to the referee right now. Are you sure that he was established outside of that arc? If not, it's a block.
And here we're going to get the same call, as we're going to get a moving violation on a pick. And with that, we get a foul and a foul foul on the first 2 possessions.
You got to make sure you're stationary on those screens. The referee's they're going to call it close early, Gary, because both of these teams like to do a lot of movement on offense.
Delaney will handle the point until Tony Johnson gets back, if indeed he gets back, and we're talking about his back, because that is the problem for Tony Johnson. He's got a crack in his vertebrae, and could be 6 weeks, and we're going to get a walking violation called.
I think he stepped on the sideline there. Yeah, it was a good defensive play in the post. They couldn't get it into Ryan Willen, but in his effort to recover the ball, I think it was the point guard. I think it was Callaway. His
hand.
Oh, his hand. Okay.
Well, the game's all even. We've had 2 offensive fouls, and we have had 2 turnovers in the ball game. There you get a look at Tazinski. Pull up Delaney. That won't go. Easy rebound for Johnson.
And here come the Terriers, Gary. They're going to want to push the action when they can. Probably not going to wait too long on offense. Like that.
That ball put up by number 3, Ben Mockford, and he knocks down his 5th triple of the year. He's now 5 for 11, and it's a 3-0 lead.
And he was one of 4 Terriers in double figures against Seton Hall. And here you see the ball pressure that they can bring, Gary. Lafayette's going to have to handle it.
Inside Trist, he can't get it to fall, and the rebound is controlled by Nichols. Lafayette 0 for 2. And that one slapped away. Good defense, but it goes right back to Nichols. He can't get it to drop.
Lafayette dodged the bullet there. They played good interior defense, and the deflected ball went right to Nichols. And he missed many of those the other night against Seton Hall. He missed that one.
Ryan Willen wants to go to the basket. Ryan Willen off the glass. How many times have we seen Ryan Willen do that? 1,040 points now in his career at Lafayette.
And remember, Gary, he was slowed largely last year by a sore back. He's 100% healthy this year, and he sure did show it on that great one-on-one move.
3-2 Terriers. Lafayette man-to-man. Wow, we're going to get a screen called this time on Nichols, where he just absolutely destroyed the Leopard. Take a look.
Let's take a look at it. Right side of your screen right here, and that's what we're talking about. Boom, that's like a forearm shiver. You've got to stay stationary on those screens, and that's the first foul on Nichols and a clear block.
Welcome to Division I basketball, Joey Tazinski.
Right. Can't believe they call this a non-contact sport. Go figure. A war in sneakers.
Up and in again. Ryan Willen coming off a 22-point ball game. J.D. Pelham is in the lineup for Lafayette. J.D. a 6'10 senior out of Cary, North Carolina.
Nice block out, Gary, by Lafayette that time. J.D. Pelham doing a good job getting position.
And Willen, both. Ryan has the ball. Mauer's yet to touch it, and that time Ryan was looking for Jim Mauer. And Jimmy went one way, the ball went the other. And Fran O'Hanlon with that turnstile offense of his as Seth Hinrichs comes in, a 6'7 freshman. Clara City, Minnesota. 4 points a game, averaged 22 in high school, and 10.9 rebounds.
Love his game, Gary. I'm sorry, I saw him in the preseason. He's a lefty, and he's one of those crafty kind of players. He's got a great feel for the game.
That shot is put up and drained by Perunicic. He's an outstanding three-point shooter. That's his 4th of the year, 211th in his career. And a local young man, Jalen Cannon from Allen High School, a freshman, 6'6", is in the ball game, and he's got about 50 of his fellow teammates here watching this ball game tonight. There you get a look at Jalen, number 5, well over 1,000 points in his career at Allen High School. Good to see his head coach Doug Snyder here.
Yeah, and Gary, he chipped in against Seton Hall with 7 rebounds. He had 2 points, but he played a great floor game, played 21 minutes, and really contributed to that nice performance by the Terriers.
Lafayette with a chance to take the lead as that goes up and does not fall. Shot taken by Hinrichs.
I'm sorry, did I tell you that Hinrichs was left-handed? He is not, but Gary, what's impressive about him is he actually goes left to the basket almost better than he goes right.
There's a pull-up air ball thrown up by Matt Milk. That shot by Perunicic must not have been a triple because there's only a 5-point score up there for St. Francis. We can get a foul? We will on Ryan Willen. They didn't want to call it, but once the body started flying, they had to call it. We're going to have a call timeout down on the floor. 5-4 in favor of the Terriers as you get a look at Ryan Willen inside, kissing it off the glass. We'll be back.
For breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
Welcome back as you get a look at the Lafayette cheerleaders. 5-4 here early, 15:51 to go in the first period.
Pretty much what we expected, Gary, early on. I mean, there's two teams of kind of feeling one another out. I'm impressed so far with Lafayette's ability to stay with and defend the St. Francis offense in the half court. As we mentioned, they're very, very quick. But Lafayette's come out man-to-man, and they've done well with it. Now Les Smith enters the game.
6-foot sophomore out of Cotati, California, averaging 6 points a ball game, along with Nick Petkovich, 6'5" senior, Leesburg, Virginia. He comes in averaging 5 points a ball game, wearing number 33.
St. Francis is actually running a little bit of that Princeton half-court offense.
Here's a quick toss-up, does not go. Rebound by Petkovich. That shot by Mockford. Little pick and roll covered nicely by Cannon. In the paint, that's going to be a lost ball for Lafayette. Turnover number 4. Quickly down the floor, Callaway up and in. Dre Callaway in transition.
Yeah, Dre Callaway got in foul trouble against Seton Hall. Gary only played 26 minutes, but St. Francis wants to keep him on the floor as much as possible. He's the catalyst both defensively and offensively.
Smith gets it across midcourt. Now we're getting ready to come back in along with Delaney. Boy, Fran hasn't hesitated going to his freshman here early in the season. Petkovich pulls up, and he drains it. He knew it. He drops it, his third of the year.
Nice job on the dribble drive that time, Gary. The dribble penetration created the defensive collapse and the nice kick out. And Nick Petkovich, he can shoot the basketball, no question about it. He got an open look and drained it.
That's our first tie of the basketball game. 7-7. Inside, looking to go. Nice defense, Pelham. And good box out, Pelham, but there's Cannon. And we have a foul called on Cannon. Nope, it's going to be on Milk over the top.
Scramble for the loose ball, Gary. They got Milk over the top. And this is something that St. Francis did very, very well against Seton Hall, and that is offensively rebound the basketball. At that time, they got caught. They very nearly had another one.
So the Leopards, who have never led, have a chance right here. Les Smith, no. Follow Delaney, yes. Rob Delaney, a good rebounding position.
Poor blocking out that time by St. Francis. Delaney got a free lane to the basket off the nice move by Les Smith. And Lafayette stays man-to-man, Gary. It's interesting, and it's a credit to Fran's confidence in their defensive abilities, I think.
Way outside. Mockford can't get it down. Slapped around, and it ends up in the hands of Callaway, who wants to go, and Les Smith will foul him. That'll be the first foul on Smith, and the third team foul.
It's another second chance opportunity for the Terriers. And that time, they were able to take advantage of it, and Dre Calloway able to get himself to the foul line.
We talked about Dan Trist. He played on the Australia under-19 team. He was a Nike All-Asian Team All-Star. And he has a twin, Benjamin Trist. But he was highly sought. Fran found him. And they obviously are looking for big things in the next 4 years out of him. Calloway makes the foul shot, our first foul shot of the game.
Because of his international experience, Gary, there's the offensive rebounding we're talking about. Yeah, another chance. But Gary, we talked about Danny Trist and his international experience, and as a result of that worldly experience, he comes in as an atypical freshman. He's bigger and stronger and a little more advanced than a typical first-year player.
Cannon inside. That's going to be a held ball. The possession arrow will go to St. Francis. I'm not sure it was ever blocked.
Yeah,
okay, you jumped up and down.
Which would have been a walk. So I'm not sure anybody. Let's see if anybody from Lafayette gets. Okay, well.
It was blocked.
Yep, it was blocked. Doing a good job on Nichols so far.
He has yet to score. Had 25 in the ball game against Seton Hall. And that's why he had 25.
I spoke too soon. That's just a product of great ball movement. Gary, when the ball doesn't hit the floor and you can pass and catch and your spacing is proper, that's what happens. Good things happen.
Second lead change. Petkovic trying to find Trist.
Yeah, that's the quickness we're talking about, Gary. That was Jones. That was Brent Jones defensively. And you don't always have to be stationary to draw an offensive foul. In that situation, Jones had position. He was moving with the offensive player in that little extension of the off arm. Let's take a look at it. He's moving. This is just great quickness. And Les Smith right there, clearly a push-off.
It's like offensive pass interference in college football. Speaking of college football, 147th edition on Saturday, Lafayette Lehigh, 12:30 on LSN. Smith, Willett, kicking it around. Maurer yet to take a shot. From the corner doesn't go for Delaney. Nice pass inside, quick shot, no. And Maurer in position to make sure Lafayette ends up with the basketball. That was Brent Jones, a 5'10 sophomore out of Brooklyn, New York, who put up the quick shot but did not finish.
Gary, that was a great little sequence there. Both teams moving the ball well, getting good looks at the basket, just not getting them to go down. But it's a good pace right now. And Lafayette is doing a good job playing at a pace that I might have thought was a little too quick for them, but they're doing a good job staying with St. Francis at a quicker pace.
More of a defensive struggle than I expected. Inside, we're going to get a foul here on St. Francis. It'll be a non-shooting foul. And when we come back, Lafayette will have the basketball underneath their own basket. 11:45 to go, first half on the Lafayette Sports Network. Stay with us.
If you live for the outdoors, you're going to love CBK Mountain Adventures. The Pocono Mountain's newest attraction is a thrill seeker's paradise for the whole family. Swing in the trees on treetop adventure courses for every skill level, plus the 1,000-foot zip line where you are 8 stories high, Euro bungee, disc golf, a climbing wall, and mountain segway tours, all at the base of Camelback Mountain Resort. Spend the day or the weekend. CBK Mountain Adventures is just a short drive away at Camel Beach Mountain Water Park in Tannersville, PA. Visit cbkmountainadventures.com.
Our primary fundamental belief is that better ingredients, better pizza is quality, and that's what Papa John's is all about. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Right now, get any large pizza with your choice of toppings, even our signature specialties, only $11. That's right. Order now at papajohns.com and get any large pizza with any toppings, just $11, only at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Well, not a great deal has happened this early in the season, but our Patriot League standings presented by Coordinated Health, the team that cares. for the Lafayette Leopards. Navy off to a good start. Colgate, Lafayette. Lehigh finally won their first ball game the other night, John, and although Bucknell is probably the best team in the Patriot League, they've got a tough schedule.
Oh, they sure have, Gary. But you know what? Interestingly, Navy and Colgate, both new coaches, Ed DeChellis at Navy, Matt Langle up at Colgate, and they haven't lost yet. It's not going to be that easy. Hey, Gary, the basketball gods have it figured out. Let's run this through. First of all, you've got all kinds of spacing. Great spacing. Here's your shooter right here. But watch what happens. Bing, hold on. And as the ball moves, the ball can just move more quickly than can the players. And when the ball moves around that effectively, and good shooters can catch it and shoot it, Gary, the basketball gods have it figured out. They make the basketball go in.
It doesn't hurt to have that release either. Maurer, no, but Trist is right there to take care of it. So Maurer thought he was going to get a shot. He did not. And Trist was there to kind of clean it up.
Right now, Lafayette's movement on offense is creating great spacing of their own, and they're getting to the rim off the dribble. There's a nice little play right there.
Yeah, by Jalen Cannon trying to go up with it. No, neither one of them would drop. He made a nice back cut, but was not rewarded when he ran into good defense.
And a nice rebound in traffic by the freshman, Gary. He went up among some pretty tall athletic players and did a nice job.
I just like his feel for the offense so far. I mean, he seems to know this is not an easy offense to learn. Jim Maurer has taken a lot of time to learn it, and he does it well.
Well, on the one side of the court, you had Trist and Henrik, two freshmen, Gary. And here's the little pick and roll. There's the screen by Willen. So you had two of the upperclassmen on this side of the court, two freshmen on the other side of the court, and that was as well executed as we've seen Lafayette's offense all evening long.
Foul is on Cannon. By the way, that last foul before the break was on Nichols. So Nichols has two fouls. He may spend a little time on the vinyl. And Maurer's first 3 points of the game. Way outside Jones, and that is drained by Brent Jones. So he's now 1 for 2 on the season from beyond the arc.
Well, Jones probably overheard me and said, hey, Coach, the heck with all that ball movement. I'm going to show you this way. No passing at all. Pull up, nail it from downtown, and we've got another tie.
They came in shooting 52% from beyond the arc. This is going to be a foul on Trist. Moving screen. Lafayette came in shooting 46% from beyond the arc.
And Gary, one of the reasons we're seeing so many blocks and moving screens is because, number one, both of these teams like to run their offense that way. But the other thing is, I think it's the aggressive defense. They're inducing these blocking calls because their on-the-ball defense is really pretty good right now.
Jones hounded by Delaney. Montfort